Good morning, everyone. It is bright and early on this beautiful Friday. I think it's Friday today. Those of you who disagree with me can correct me. It's really nice to see everyone in chat as well. Hope you guys are well rested and ready for some really good chess. I released my article this morning just talking about, the updates of some games. And it was really nice that we got to take a look at the games yesterday. I mean, it also makes my job easy in terms of ways to talk about uh, analysis and not just ramble on about the tournament and the players, which I can do. I'm really good at talking nonsense, but here we are. Deshaun, good to see you, smart guy. DJW, don't forget to give the channel a follow. But yes, we are allowed. I think they are allowing spectators here. Of course, in not large amounts of people because it is a relatively small space, and it's really warm as well. I actually watched Neil deGrasse Tyson release a video the other day about how they were celebrating some sort of solar moment where the sun is closer to the earth, and I was like, it makes sense why it's been so hot lately. You would think it's climate change and global warming, but maybe it's just that particular day that in the sky, the sun appears bigger, but also, the weather is hotter. And honestly, every single building, it should be a basic necessity to have an air conditioning. But yeah, we brought our fan from home. And of course, we have our fans in chat. So you know what? Hopefully, we'll be kept cool enough. And we'll also go from the start of the games just to check out what has happened. And I'll go through the pairings with you guys as well. So none of the boards connected to a viewer. What does that mean precisely? I'm not entirely sure. We hear some shuffling and throat clearing. Is that coming from the hall? Perhaps. Oh, there's a good chance you get some audio from the hall then. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I can mute them. Let's quickly see. Okay, I've muted them. I think it is throat clearing from the hall. That is very cool. We could have had some audio from there to see if they're discussing some things. If there is any background noise though, please let me know because I don't have my earphones in. I think they're a little bit faulty. Because I can hear my mom listening to the stream in just the other room. So I'll ask her to put the volume down a little bit. Hi Jen, thank you so much. A wild Jesse appearing. Good morning, John. Hi, Nightwolf. Giant Pixels is here. It's your day off, I'm assuming. I'm good, thank you, Nightwolf. How are you? Yes, so we do have the boards. We have, the transmission right from yesterday afternoon. Everything is sorted, and we are very privileged. I'm hoping at some point to, make my own sort of investments into DGT boards to be able to broadcast more often. Okay, so as I was mentioning, actually, let's go to the current position and I can talk about the pairings for a moment. All right, so the pairings for round 5, let me just refresh chess results so that we can get that up. Pairings for round 5 on board 1, we have Kanya Mazibuko, who is the only one in the Masters section with full score. In the Advanced section, there are 2 players on 3 out of 3. Since they only played 1 game yesterday and 7 games in total, they're only on round 4 at the moment. And I believe, as I mentioned in the article as well, it was Rowan Nell. And I'm probably going to get the other player's name wrong, Adrian Deval. Yes. So that is in the Advanced section, and in the Masters section, Kanya is on 4 out of 4, causing quite an upset yesterday in the game between him and Watu Kabesi. I think a lot of people were taken aback by that game, and there was a certain position where we all sort of turned our heads sideways and thought, surely there's a transmission error. That can't truly be the position, but it was, unfortunately, and Kanya took the win over there. And now he's up against Charlton Nyasta, who drew against the top seed, Jan Karsten. Yesterday, it was a really nice game. Charlton was putting all the pressure on Jan's king, but in true fashion of a top player, his defense was immaculate. Like, he found all the good moves, and after the dust had settled, they sort of transposed into a rook ending that was completely drawn. And in the article, there's a little puzzle for you. There's a moment where, they just have kings and pawns. Charlton has 2 pawns, Jan has 1 pawn, and there's only one move that Jan can make in order to keep the draw. Any other move, and it's completely winning for Charlton. It's your birthday and you turned 7. First of all, happy birthday. And second of all, I think you're a little bit too young to be on Twitch, unsupervised. So perhaps if you have a mom or dad or older sibling who is over the age of 13, hopefully, then it would be okay. But usually Twitch is not a young boy's game. Ivan Tolentino, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And hello, Pipette. Good to see you. John, good to see you. Dirkia, good to see you. 16th Century Man, good to see you. The stream is so formal. Is it formal? Do you like it? I'm glad. Yeah, I'm not wearing very formal clothes. I'm just abiding by the lack of dress code, taking advantage of the fact that in the summer weather, we do not have to wear closed toe shoes and long sleeve tops, I guess. Where's Magnus? Um, Magnus just took a bye today. He'll be back tomorrow, definitely playing in this tournament in South Africa. How old was I when I started playing? This is a question I answered yesterday, actually. So I was 7 when my mum taught me how to play, and I was 8 when I played my first tournament. Yeah. But yeah, I think playing your first tournament at such a young age can be really demotivating because chances of doing well are not zero, but definitely low, or very, very low chances. We have to. There are 7-year-olds here. Formal as formal where? Yeah, so chat's informal, and if I interact with them, I therefore also become informal, and that's where we're at. So okay, on board 2 we have Jan Karsten versus Matvey Rogov, who is also on 3.5. He drew 1 game, and we thought that he won his game by default against Luto yesterday, but he did in fact play, and he just had a really nice position early on, and he ended up winning the game. And yeah, so I think he has the longest hair out of all the male players in his section, and perhaps he is taking after players like Jan Nepomniachtchi when he had a man bun, and there's another French player as well, Jules Moussard, who wears hair clips. Perhaps he is the new Samson of chess in South Africa. Who knows? And the moment, if he were to ever have a haircut, we'll be able to see whether his true strength lied within his hair or not. You missed your answer. Ad came up. So how old were you when you started playing? Long story short, 8. Like I said, my mum taught me when I was 7, and I played my first tournament when I was 8. 25 years ago. That is so funny. Perpetual. So I'm 26, so I could not have started 25 years ago, but I know he's just joking. So young, can a 21-year-old become a GM? Sure. Just like Steinitz became world champion at the age of 60, I think anything is possible. It's one of those nice things about chess. It's timeless in more than one way. I feel like if you were a gymnast, you have to start young because you obviously are conditioning your body in order to be flexible, and of course starting late is possible, but never easy. And then of course there's an age at which you will have to stop doing those like physical sports, athletics, cricket, rugby, gymnastics, and the rest. I do know that the senior form of sports still exists, but I think chess is one of those sports that no matter your age, you could all compete at the same level. That's quite nice. Anything's possible, but a lot of work, and it's easier if you start early. Exactly what John said, but mine was the longer version. How long does it take for a 21-year-old to learn? Once again, it's very much relative to how fast you learn, how much time you have, how much interest you have in the game. Of course, if you want to start something and be good at it, you have to be passionate. Otherwise, you're going to spend many hours dreading the time spent doing that. So you have to be really, really passionate and dedicated. In my opinion, if I was talking about myself and I had put in enough effort, I think maybe Woman Grandmaster is a little bit more realistic for me. I'd say 2 years of hard work and I would be 2,100, which is enough to get the title. Hey, Hair Apparent, how are you doing? Don't start with GM. Try to get a 1,500 and see if a title is even an option. So there's me, an optimist, and I like to think of things in a very bright, positive way. And then there's Pipette. So yeah, don't listen to him, just focus on what I said. On board 3, we have Luto versus Watu Kabesi. Watu is here to make a comeback. I think he's definitely now more dedicated than ever to finish the second half of this tournament with a flawless score. I would do the same, in all honesty. And on board 4, Charles de Villiers, also on 3 points. Excuse me, playing against Craig Willenberg. I believe Craig lost his first game and won all 3 of his next. So he is on a winning streak. It's not easy to take down a person on a winning streak. They're usually, high on fumes of a win. I think it's one of the reasons why we don't mind losing sometimes and we continue to play chess, because the high of a win definitely outweighs the lows of a loss. I know those lows can be pretty low. But nothing feels better than winning games, and it basically means you've pretty much outsmarted your opponent, and that feels pretty great. And on board 5, we have Regan Palmer, who is the last person on 3, against Calvin Klaassen, who's on 2.5, and Waylon Brander, also on 2.5, against Sherwin Kleinsmith, 2.5, Tiziano Umnyasta, who scored a draw against Calvin Klaassen in the 4th round. Again, in the article, there's a little puzzle for you guys, a nice little puzzle where Calvin was a pawn up. And in order to maintain his advantage, he had only one move that he had to make. And in the puzzle, you have to find that move. Calvin found it. And then it says, can you find it? So Tiziano is playing against Kenny Willenberg. It's nice to see so many family members playing in the same tournament. If I were to take a look just from what I see here, there's Charlton Nyasta and his brother Tiziano Nyasta. And then there's Craig Willenberg and Kenny Willenberg. I would definitely love to have one of them or both of them for an interview just to talk about their family. I know they grew up knowing chess really well. All the or most of the family members who are males are also chess players, and very good chess players at that, or coaches. And then there's Matvey Rogov and his brother Timofey Rogov, which is nice. And I'm pretty sure they are siblings as well in the advanced section and so on. All right, so we are looking at the next board, which is Michael Cutberg versus Tyler Nevin, and Shabir Bawoudine versus Jiran Braf. We will take a look at Shubs' game at some point. I think we were watching him play Craig yesterday with the whole queen sacrifice for 2 knights, which was very intriguing. And Craig sort of bluffing, giving away the exchange. Will they, won't they? Oh no, my rook vibes. Okay, and board 11, there was Geriant Segalar, who I don't actually know, versus James Denham. And on board 12, which is our last DGT board, Ruben Salimu versus Mark Lewis. So we'll check out these games today, and I just wanted to sort of run through the pairings before taking a deep dive into the games. The games aren't going anywhere, but it's always nice to see a little bird's eye view before tuning into one specific game. Tag Bon, how are you doing? Well said. Ashman, good to see you, first time chatter. It's always nice to see the little bubble that pops up that someone is writing in the chat for the first time. I know there are a lot of people just lurking and watching, but just know that it means a lot if you do write in the chat just a hello, or I'm lurking, or use a little emote, or there's global emotes on Twitch. It's always nice to know that you're here and watching. And yeah, thank you again for being here. Every single view counts, every single follow counts, and it helps the channel. And really, it doesn't cost a single thing other than time and a button click. Yeah. What is your title? I'm super new to all of this. Plus, I downloaded Twitch for my live. Oh, Are you South African? Are you from South Africa? That's amazing to be here and watch Twitch just because of the link that was distributed. I'm a woman international master from South Africa, born and bred in okay, that sounds weird. I was born in Port Elizabeth and then moved to Cape Town last year. Well, actually in 2022, round about November, December. So I've been here for over a year, which is crazy to think about. But finally, I'm able to do something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It does mean that I get to play. I don't get to play as much, but it also means that it's an investment into local chess and trying to grow the game this way. I'm hoping that there will obviously be a positive ripple effect on many other events to come, and perhaps I can just do this more often. I'm enjoying it. I'm passionate about it. I get to talk about games and not, have to worry about the stress of preparation. Plus, I feel like along with commentating on games and analyzing them and looking at, players, you get to know the player better. And you are working on your chess at the same time. You're getting to know different openings and lines. So it's equivalent to looking at top players' games, which is a form of training. Only attach that to entertainment, and there you go. It's like a perfect cocktail. You came from Danya, they're having this exact same conversation. Oh, really? Talking about starting young, or what specifically? I'm just catching up in chat right now, reading what everyone is writing. When is the finals? Well, it's not exactly a knockout. It's a Swiss tournament. Nor is it a round robin. So I guess you have 3 different formats in chess. You have a knockout. You have your Swiss format, which is multiple players, and then you being paired against someone based on score. And then round robin, where you play everyone in your section. Thank you, Adara, for the follow. It's once again a real pleasure to have you in chat. But the last game will be played on Sunday morning. That will be the last round. You forgot Calvin Klaassen and his wife, Robin Klaassen. Yes, his wife. Let's not get carried away there, Pipette. What do you do if you want to improve in chess? I feel like this question was perfectly answered in the interview I conducted with Mkita Joya yesterday. I posted it on YouTube, but it's also once again found in the article. If anyone can attach the article to the stream chat, that would be amazing. I feel like there's a lot of things in there. And then right at the end, I asked her a question and her answer was spectacular. I had to give her a high five after that. So please watch that interview. It is so good and so funny. And if you were to watch it and then realize that she's only 12, it'll blow your mind. Perpetual checkmate. Lol. Was I bred? I like to eat bread. Hey, Keith. I'm so proud of you. Do you want to join the World Championship? If that's an offer, I gracefully accept. Yes, I will want to be part of the World Championship. Edric. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. They are married. They're not brother and sister. It's good to see more women in chess. Yes. And that's one of the questions I also asked Mkita. In her opinion, what would be a good sort of motivator for girls in chess to sort of continue playing instead of stopping at a certain age? Please go watch the answer. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Round robin. Don't call Robin round. You're horrible, Pipette. You're horrible. You changed it from perpetual check. No, perpetual stalemate. What was your original name? I don't even know anymore. Hey, Killer Fox. So I have my watermelon in true summer fashion. I have my cup of coffee because I don't get enough sleep. And I have stream. What could be better? Why didn't you join the World Championship? I'm not strong enough. I was at the World Championship last year in Kazakhstan, in Astana. I was working with FIDE as part of the media team, and I was also asking questions at the press conference. That was quite fun. Yeah. You noticed so fast. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm not sure if it's the connection in the playing hall or whether it's a connection issue on my side. But I'll try to make sure that the stream doesn't lag, so that we can see everything happening in real time in the playing hall, which would be great. I'm also going to try and work on the lighting in this room, which isn't exactly something worth writing home about. Okay, but please keep me updated about the stream quality so that everything is good. We do have load shedding at the moment, so that could also be a huge influencer. I think the venue does have a generator, but somehow it affects connection regardless. Wasn't fun for Nepo. Well, I think Nepo was a good sport. He doesn't hate me, I don't think. He greeted me at the World Rapid without any sort of resentment on his face. So I thought, of course the result was not ideal for him, but I think he's over it. He got a whole tattoo to commemorate his strength moving forward from that event. What's the rating for World Champ? Well, the World Champion at the moment is a high 2700. I'm a mere 1800. Happy New Year, Shadok. Okay, so now we are here to take a look at games, and that's exactly what we're going to start doing. We'll see it from Kanya's point of view, who's playing with the white pieces here. And Kanya started with e4, and we have a Sicilian knight off with bishop b5, which is quite interesting. I haven't seen c4 before. c4 is new. I'm just going to turn off the lines so that I don't look at the engine suggestions. So after bishop takes, pawn takes, I honestly have not seen this sort of structure. Usually you take on d7 or you play something like a4 maybe. But anyway, he probably knows exactly what he's doing. Queen to e2 was played. No light squared bishops, so of course you want to place your queen on a square that will control multiple light squares, so you let your dark squared bishop do the rest of the work. Rook to d1, rook to c8, and bishop to g5. Okay, so white has completed their development and probably also aiming towards playing a move like rook a to c1. I guess my question would be, what is black's plan here? And I'm going to say 60% sure Charlton is unfamiliar with this structure, especially with the c pawn being on b5. White has a lot of space, and probably in a position like this, you will want to know a little bit more than your opponent in terms of the structure and how to play. Otherwise, you're stuck with limited space and no idea what to do. But I guess that is the advantage of having so much time on the clock. I honestly like classical chess just because it gives us more time to be creative. And I know with rapid chess and blitz chess, you get more of an opportunity to play dubious moves because your opponent doesn't have sufficient time on the clock to, delve deep into the position and try to figure out what exactly you're trying to do. And in classical chess, the moment a dubious move is played, it's punished quite quickly afterwards as well. But okay, moving on, h6, bishop to h4, queen to b6, king h1. Okay, so he wants to play f4. So king h1, f4, bishop f2. This seems like a good plan. And you can see white sort of wants to provoke this move. Of course, it would weaken d6, so we're never going to see that. Okay, so king h1, e6 instead. So he wants to play d5. And white needs to put a stop to that. I think d5 immediately is possible, just because the queen is on a square where this could potentially be an open file, rook e8, d5 if the pawn were to take, pawn takes, and suddenly I feel like black is slightly better, perhaps. But okay, knight b3 stopping d5, and a6, trying to get rid of the space that white has gained after the c4 move. I'm definitely going to take a look at this line. Maybe it's playable in some blitz games. It's always nice to have some sidelines available to you where you know that someone's going to be checking out your blitz games, but also you don't want to hard to commit to playing your own repertoire and you still want to do well. Classical chess is the best. As someone who makes a lot of mistakes, classical is not it. Were you not playing today? I honestly saw you with your notation in your hand. Did your opponent did he not pitch up? What happened? Also, thank you so much for coming up to me and greeting me. See, I'm not a vampire, nor am I a zombie. Though I am usually a zombie right before my cup of coffee. Not seeing Jan on board one is not like this. I get that. Jenny's blowing her nose. What's the Nepo thing that I missed? Not much, unless you didn't see the World Championship. You forgot your garlic. Can't confirm if vampire or not. I'm deeply offended. Oh, opponent called in sick. Sounds interesting. Excuse me, sorry. I'm just gonna mute myself. Thank you for bearing with. Okay, so a6. And Kanya committed to taking the pawn. So we didn't leave the pawn. I mean, in my opinion, is it all that bad if black takes? You're following up with knight takes. You're attacking d6. Okay, maybe you're not defending d5 anymore. So, that makes sense. Maybe let's see what he decided to play after that. f4 and bishop f2 is probably the idea here. I am worried about the safety of d6, but I also feel like in a position like the one in front of us, it's still open to debate. I don't know who I would pick here. Knight h5, but bishop e7. Why knight h5? Bishop e7, right? Ah, but okay, wait. Let's see. Okay, so bishop e7, knight takes f4, and queen f3. How is this better for black? I do not understand. Oh, maybe this? No, but you give up the exchange. You do not give up the exchange. Do not do that. Okay, take. And it's better for black. Okay, he knows what he's doing, it seems. It took him 11 minutes and 42 seconds to play knight h5. And now we know Kanya is spending his time here. As someone who makes a lot of mistakes, classical is not it. Because in classical, your opponent will actually find a way to punish your mistakes. Okay, makes sense. All right, so now we can take a look at the other games that are going on. On board 2. On board 2, there is Jan Karsten versus Matvey Rogov. And the last move, we just caught it now, was d5. And one second, I got an important message. Okay. So let's check out how this game started. I'm yet to figure out Matvey as a player. C4. Jan started with C4. I wonder if he's a C4 player through and through. What are the best chess books for beginners? That's a great question. I'd say Aaron Nimzovich, My System. Jeremy Silman's Endgame course is really good. For beginners, anything tactics related is good. Reassess your chess. Train like a grandmaster, or like Play Like a Grandmaster by Kotov, Alexander Kotov, I think are really good books. I'm just trying to pick books that are easily approachable. Imkita, who's a 12-year-old, is working through My Predecessors by Gary Kasparov. One of the most difficult books to read in terms of trying to motivate yourself to sit down and go through all of that. That's a lot. I'd say stay away from books that seem a little bit more intimidating and go for something that's approachable. Good prefaces, easy to read. I'd also say Judith Polgar's books are quite good, and as well as Jesus de la Villa, his Endgame book as well. I'm now a 1600 rated bullet player. Proud of you. So proud. When playing a high rated person, they will draw lost positions and win drawn positions. Why I hate classical, I get grinded down. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you're in a drawn position or you want to perform well against a higher rated player and you're going into the middle game completely equal, my advice to you is simplify as quickly as possible, because your opponent will not want to simplify. They want to complicate things, to confuse you, because higher chance they will understand the position better than you. So if you offer a trade of pieces, with their only option being either to retreat their pieces to weaker squares or to trade, they will obviously want to retreat, and you will have the upper hand. Sorry, I have like hiccups. I don't know. Art of War, Sun Tzu. I have some advice regarding that book. It's got nothing to do with chess, but everything to do with probably the things surrounding chess, right? So it's a good read, and I think it's available for free on most platforms, so you can just download the book. But yeah, The Art of War is I'm not sure if I would add it to my list. Matt Attack. Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I just recently read that one. Does not help with chess improvement. Does help with being entertained. Okay, so the English has been played, and yeah, C6. My System by Nimzovich, 100 Endgames You Must Know by Jesus de la Villa, Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and some book by Judith Polk. Well, no, it's a series of books. There's 3 books that she has written, by the way. And perhaps you can also add to that is Jeremy Silman's Endgame course. But I have a video talking about this. I think it recently got quite a lot of traction on YouTube, about my recommendations. I'll play you the audio of it. My light just stopped working. There we go. I'll play you the audio of the video. Let me just see if this is correct. There we go. Okay, here it is. Do you want to improve your chess? Here are some books I can definitely recommend. My System by Aaron Nimzovich, Silman's Complete Endgame Course from Beginner to Master, Bobby Fischer's My 60 Memorable Games, and Art Yusupov's Build Up Your Chess. I believe there are a few books in the series. Enjoy. Do you want to improve your chess? Okay. Here are some books I can definitely... I think that was the whole video. Now you know. Oh, you found the video. Oh no, are you about to rickroll me? I think this is a rickroll, but I'm gonna open it anyway. Oh, never mind. It's my original song. That's funny. Your system? Well, it's not my system. It's Aaron Nimzovich's system, and he called it my system. What are the books called? The Polga books. How I Beat Fischer's Record. That was the first book. Judith. I need to get the rest of the books. So I have the first one. It's called How I Beat Fischer's Record. And then a game of Queens. And then the last one is From GM to Top 10. Judah Polgar Teaches Chess 2. Oh, maybe a game of Queens is her third book. But yeah. And then she has even more recent book released by Chessable. I think it's called Master Your Chess with Judith Polgar, which is nice. And of course, some books in between I think she published with her sisters. And so on. I think there was one from 1991 called Polgar Tactics, 77 chess combinations. Hello everyone, I am back. For the moment, I'm hoping that, okay, my computer just started roaring, so I think that, things are going to be a little bit heavier on the Wi-Fi, but I hope the power's back by now. It's usually back by like, not on the hour, but like a little bit after, so I thought I'd give it a bit of time. But here we are. I have returned, and my camel wife is spamming me. It's my turn to expose her. Yeah. She's been having some really good ideas that we might be able to work together to implement. Escom doing the things as per usual. It was load shedding from 10 to 12:30, so I thought I would just, not be on camera because the stream kept dipping. But I'm back. James is here. He says, interview me. James? Computer's roaring. Is it hungry? Hi, Smart Sky, how are you doing? Okay, James, come for an interview. We'll do an offline interview. And, okay. I guess I'm going to go quickly and interview James, and I'll be back shortly. Do you know where the room is, James? Hats, thanks for the follow. C6 Emist, thanks for the follow. Tlakisa, Adosh Turtle, the People's Patsa. Thank you so much for the follows. The stream, I appreciate it. As I mentioned before, we crossed 6,700 followers, and I'm forever grateful for that. So we will be analyzing some games. We'll probably just go back to looking at board 1 in the moment while Kanya goes into sport mode with Charlton's last move being queen to b5 that chess.com did not like. Although we have not been paying too much attention to the evaluation on chess.com, just given how it almost fooled us. Okay, I think James is here, and I'm going to interview him, so I'll be back soon. And I am back as well. Welcome everyone. For those of you who've just arrived and haven't seen me, sorry, I've been conducting some interviews which I'll be editing later, just to cut out the ums and the ahs and some of the crazy questions I ask in between, just to, you know, loosen the players up a little bit, which helps. Zen Master, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciated the support, or appreciate current tense or present tense, the support the stream. Vilky ZA is in chat as well. And yeah, I'm about to check out the game just to see where last we picked up. And this was sort of one of the crazier games. So I'm probably going to go back a little bit just to see what's been happening. I think we've had some brilliancies as per chess.com. So I think the last position we saw was actually a long time ago. So f4 we saw, and after knight h5, okay, we saw this as well, and rook c6. So rook c6 was chosen as the way to sort of defend this pawn, and we also spoke about how, you know, black wants to play d5 eventually, and I think that Kanya knows that and is trying to prevent it at all costs. So bringing the bishop back, redirecting it to a better square, though I was just thinking, was it possible to play a move like bishop e7? Probably it was, or was it not? Because rook e8, bishop takes, and I'm not entirely sure what would happen. Okay, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and it doesn't seem obvious. Knight d to f6 are going for this. Okay, and the pawn is hanging. So maybe they did calculate that out. Let's go back to the current position that we had then. Okay, so bishop f2, queen to b4, knight d4 attacking the queen, rook c4, which is a very nice move. Queen to b7 and knight d2. So let's see what the move was that should have been played instead. I can see that. Oh, I wonder if knight takes e6. Okay, it probably isn't. F takes e6, queen takes. What's wrong with this move? Oh, probably just rook c6. No? Knight takes f4. Okay, this is way too complicated for me. Way beyond me. Okay, so queen to b7. Hey, Love. That comeback jump scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry. My bad. Okay, knight e2 favored Charlton, and so he ended up playing knight to f6. Queen takes d6, knight takes e4. So it looks like, though white had pressure in the center and was controlling a lot of squares, it also made those pawns weak. So I guess there are benefits and disadvantages to pushing a pawn, of course. Every pawn you push creates a weakness somewhere, because when you push a pawn, you are leaving squares behind. So bishop f6 and bishop b6. So bishop f6 was to threaten rook d8, and bishop b6 was a frowned upon move. Well. Probably playing a move like knight takes f4 here might be it. Okay, rook c8 is also quite nice, because now you're threatening rook c6. And after bishop to a5, queen to b5, the engine did not like at all. Is knight c3 a move here now? Possibly. Or maybe queen d7. No, queen d7 is bad. What is the move? Okay, knight c3. Okay, I was correct. Because I thought rook takes e3, but bishop takes e3. So bishop takes e3 first. Bishop takes, and knight takes f4. Once again, a mistake. What should Charlton have played? There's only one move here. Perhaps this would make it into the article next. But there's one move here that Charlton needs to play in order to maintain his advantage, which he didn't play. Oh, thank you, Dokia. Sorry your coffee is empty. Jesse's old interview. I always make the mistake of opening these things. Oh, it is an old interview. I actually saw him again at the awards ceremony. Oh, look how young I look. Oh my goodness, this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Jessie becoming a woman. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. At least you weren't able to hear things. Kanye has 5 minutes, so I want to see the current position. Knight takes f4. The correct move was rook takes f4. Knight takes f4, queen. Brilliancy. Absolute brilliancy. Yeah. Queen e8 is forced, I think. Queen e8. And after queen to f6, he thought, this is it. I'm winning. However, there are some moves that can be played by black. I'm actually trying to figure out what those moves are. Probably just blocking the bishop, right? So e5. Queen takes a6. Rook d8. This is intense. Both kings are a little bit unsafe. And white's king's back, or the back rank is just not looking good. Attacking the queen. Knight d3. Creating a pin on his own queen. And also allowing perhaps some pressure on f7. Rook d1 they did not like. So apparently queen f6 was better, just to both put pressure on the rook on d8 and f7. I'll turn off the lines so that I'm not cheating. Yeah, and then after that, rook d1, rook f4, stopping the rook from going back to f1. It's amazing how many brilliancies we've seen this round. And he moved. He has 4 minutes on the clock versus Charlton's 24 minutes. Offering a trade of queens. Okay, I'm done looking at the punctuation on these moves. Asper Gamer. Good to see you as a first-time chatter. Rook takes c3. Only move, I think. Or that. Lol. Well, I hope there isn't any like huge delay in the stream. In connection to Women's Month, your experience in becoming a Women International Master. Oh. Gotcha. Oh no. I made a very risky comment on Instagram about a certain person being released on patrol. Parole, not patrol. Sorry, my bad. Parole. Patrol. Yes, patrol is the one. Anyway, is it healthy to mix French fries, mayonnaise, and hot water to make a miso-like creamy soup? Please leave this chat. Now that you got me thinking about it, I no longer want to think about it. No, Baldur van Martin, that's a very disturbing thought. And I hope that you will find peace in your life at some point. No, I didn't say that. I said after all the compelling evidence, he had no leg to stand on. That was the comment that I made that might get me cancelled, unfortunately. But I think in this case it might add some. I mean, when it all happened, obviously the nation was filled with a lot of frustration for everything that was going on, and the fact that there was a court case. Yeah, it was damning. Okay. Anyway, we move on to better things. That's just a hilarious comment. Okay, we move on, guys. Okay. Let's look at Jan versus Matvey. So Jan's converted quite nicely. As we mentioned at the beginning of the tournament, and I will continue to say so, Jan is a pawn hunter. And once he grabs hold onto one pawn, he never lets go of the advantage. And he's a pawn up here. He won the pawn on d4, I think. Yeah, in this position, after bishop e6, he took on d4. And rook to e8. I love how he just ignores it because back rank threats. And after g5, knight to d5, knight to c6, and rook to e4. Okay. Very nicely done. A lot of tactical motives. Okay, he gave the pawn back, but there's still quite an advantage for Jan. After f5, rook c7. Okay. I thought maybe after b6, d4 here. Isn't d4 a decent way to proceed? Okay, definitely not. What's better? Rook a7. Again, I have no idea. Let's see. Rook d7 is recommended. Rook a7 is recommended. And then rook c6 still keeps an advantage, but it's much smaller. But like we said in the beginning of the game, every player has 33 pieces, which includes the clock. And here, I think Matvey Ragov is not doing so well in terms of that material count. Yeah, careful. Oh, yeah, no, you're right, Papette, but I'm too small of a creator to have my opinion mean anything, though I'm going to touch wood in hopes that that remains true for the time being. Otherwise, I definitely will be removing my comment. I'm really good at playing with the edge out of the cliff, or playing at the edge of the cliff. Anyway, oof, again. Yes, well, that wasn't the last move that was made. So he played rook c6, and then after b5, a3. So b5, I'm wondering if it should have been followed up with rook b6. But after rook c5, b4? Then maybe rook a5. Rook a5, yes. a3, f4. Those are a lot of inaccurate moves in a row. Knight and f5 was apparently a mistake. Apparently you're supposed to play here, but I can understand that you don't really want to give up your pawns, especially when your opponent's down a material, it's exactly what they want to do. They want to exchange pawns. But okay, f5 and knight f4, bishop f1. It suggests here that Rogov should have played h5 with the move that he had. Though once again, I would not have understood it. Like I would have played here and here. Okay, maybe you lose a piece actually if you play that, or an exchange. Anyway, here bishop f1, and he has 2 minutes on the clock to make a decision. He seems very composed for the amount of time he has left. Yeah. Looks like Calvin won his game on board 5. That is the first result from the camera, the whole camera that we can see here. Other results involve Ruben. Okay, Ruben Salimu is still playing. It looks fairly drawish for now. He's playing against Mark Lewis. And then we have James Dinham, who we just interviewed, who won his game against Gariant. Shabir Bawuddin beat Jiran Braff. Michael Cuthbert versus Tyler Nevin. Tyler won. Kenny Willenberg versus Teziano. Kenny won. Is he a queen up? No, he's not. Okay. And then Edward Portgieter versus Waguta Brooklyn. Edward won his game, and then Calvin against Regan Palmer. Okay, Calvin has redeemed himself. And if we were to take a look at the current standings, they're not available on chess.com, it seems. But if I remember correctly, Calvin was on 3 points? Or 3.5 points. I had to close the window just to allow for the internet to work. Cape Town Masters. Okay. Okay, chess results. Two and a half points. Okay, he was on 2.5 points, and now he's on 3.5 points. So I think a lot of people will be on the same score after this round. All right, and a lot of unpredictable results too. Let's go back to board 1 for a second. Although Matt Fay made his move. So Rook f8 was the move that Matt Fay played, and Jan Carson has a lot of time to ponder on this position now, knowing very well that Matt Fay only has 2 minutes left. It's early enough to take a nap first. I will definitely take a nap in the storeroom. There's a lot of seat cushions, so maybe I'll grab 1 or 2 or 5. So many typical Dutch names. A lot of Afrikaans names, that's true. If we were to go through the number of Afrikaans names, I would say Jan is an Afrikaans name. Edward Potgieter. Potgieter would be an Afrikaans surname. Waylon Brander, I would say, is Afrikaans. Schoen Kleinsmit. Or Schmidt. Kenneth Sean Willenberg. Geran Braff. Geriant. Segelaar. Would be it. Yeah, they probably go on and on. Thank you, Belder von Motten, for the follow. I appreciate it. Klaassen, yes. I'm deciding whether 10:49 is too early to get a pizza because I'm hungry. There is such thing as brunch. We will excuse you. Plus, it's 1 o'clock somewhere, and that somewhere is here. So it is lunchtime. Slides quietly back into chat with green tea. No green tea! I suppose a lot of green tea is bad. To not drink. Quickly just keep this up for a little bit. What are we having for lunch? I ate a little something. My mum made some tea. It's rooibos tea though. I actually got a present for Maria when she gets here. I'll have some a rooibos tea collection. I got a little box of different types of rooibos tea as like a little local present. What was I saying? Oh yes, and a sandwich that the organizers bought for me. So they've been keeping me hydrated and they've been keeping me fed, which I've been very grateful for, because I didn't really ask for anything in return for doing this. And yeah, I said, listen, I'm just doing it because, one, I get to stream, which is something I would be doing anyway, and two, it's something I'm passionate about. It's either streaming or participating, and both is chess related, so it's good. All you can ask for, exactly. Food is payment enough. What's my favorite charity? So, after we got Coda is our husky. Coda is my husky. If you check out my Instagram, he's all over. I wanted to look into fostering puppies and stuff like that. For one, it would obviously be nice to have puppies. Who doesn't love puppies? And two, Coda would be able to start getting familiar with younger dogs. And there's also some like foods and stuff that we would get that wouldn't necessarily fit with Coda's eating or food preferences. So, donating that as well. So animal shelters and things like SPCA, big plus. I've also done some charity streams. And I know that there's also something in chess right now. Chess in slums, which is quite big. So, yeah, I'm a huge advocate for it all. I wish I had more time and effort or put in effort and energy and that sort of thing into it. But for now, I'm not doing anything with any charity. I like Jesse's logic. So get the pizza. I discovered rooibos red chai tea last year, which is amazing. I've never had that before. Do I even like charity? Okay. So he's gained some time on the clock. So he's made some really quick moves, putting a lot of pressure on Jan. But Jan has still got the advantage going. I think someone just realized that they were standing in front of the camera and moved away. Yeah. Charlton Niesta versus Kanya. Charlton has a lot of pressure in this position, though the evaluation bar hugely prefers the white pieces here for some reason. You don't have Discord? I do. I think you just you typed Discord incorrectly. Bishop d4. Wow. He's really kept a large advantage. Wow. It's nice to see so many players from outside of Cape Town coming here to play. I mean, Cape Town is one of those, holiday destinations, so it's really just a two-in-one. You get to, watch some chess or play some chess, and you also get to be in the beautiful Mother City. But another reason I believe to play an event like this is, of course, the prize fund. If I can bring up the brochure quickly. Or rather, the brochure. How do you pronounce it? The brochure or brochure? Can I borrow that? Brochure. Never mind. I'll see myself out. Yeah, so the prize fund is 50,000 Rand. And I'm just opening up the PDF to tell you the breakdown. In the Masters section, it's 12,000 Rand for first place, 10,000 Rand for second place, 7,000 Rand for third place, fourth, 6,000, and fifth, 5,000. And in the advanced section, it's 5,000 Rand for first prize. So there's definitely a reason to play, which is nice. Okay, well, let's see what's going on the board. So we played A7. Kaapstad is proper Afrikaans, I hope. Kaapstad. That's true. We have Kaapstad and Tafelberg, Table Mountain, and die Tafeldoek, which are the clouds over the mountain. Yeah. I'm not like 100% fluent in Afrikaans, but I know enough to get by. Just closing some things. There we go. Right, so if Kanya wins this game, he will be the only player on 5 out of 5. And Charlton will remain on 3.5. Jan Karsten and Matvey Rogov are still playing. Though this position looks very interesting because on one hand, I think before this move, if we were to just go back one move. Yeah, I was going to say that regardless of Jan being up a pawn, it seemed like there was enough compensation in terms of activity here for the opponent. I think the plan in a position like this would then just be to trade rooks, because the only way to go about it is to play a move like rook to f4. I'm going to leave the lines off. And with 1 minute on the clock, Matvey Rogov chose to play knight c6. I wonder what the move was instead. Perhaps he was supposed to play something else. I don't know. So maybe after knight c6, he can play king takes g4. No, we can't, because then this is hanging. So he has to play king here. What is he supposed to play? Yeah, rook f4 is correct. Okay, so rook f4 seems like the only move. I suppose he could go rook b6, but why complicate things? Because then rook could go to b1 or d1 at the end. So exchange rooks, and then after h5, it just becomes impossible to defend this position. So then black would have to try and bring the king in instead. Maybe. This is just too well defended and there's no way to attack this pawn. That's crazy. So knight c6 definitely gave Jan some chances there. Ekli Umari, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you for calling me a champ. I appreciate it. Hey Mega, good morning. How are you? I guess you get to keep up your streak then. Oh, some stuff happened on board 1. Stuff's happening. What did happen? Okay, so he went double up the rooks. Okay, pushed the pawn all the way to a7. And then he tried to bring the rook back. And after g4 takes, rook b4, bishop c3. Ah, maybe he wants to achieve this move. He wants to achieve something like this. I think this was the last move that was played. Bishop c3. Because now, if rook a7, rook h2. So maybe he's going to try something there. Tando, thank you so much for the follow. I'm assuming, Tando, you are the photographer of the event. You're that Tando, right? Very tired, but I did get the streak indeed. I'm so happy. I'm glad. I'm good. Tired as well. I guess we can be tired together. John will bring the tea. Bring some tea with caffeine, please. Okay, now rook h2. And probably just king. No. How do you... Wait. Was rook b6 played? I thought rook b7 was played. No. That doesn't seem right. Let's refresh. Rook b6? Let's try to see where's this rook? Rook is on b6. The rook is on b6. Oh no! Wait. Rook b6. Rook h2. f6 blocks the bishop. f6 blocks the bishop, but what do you do? How do you respond? Maybe bishop d4 here. Oh, never mind. I think we need to give it some more thought. Okay, rook goes after the pawn. He's maintaining the advantage here. Threatening rook takes e4. And now rook e6. Rook e6. Sorry. There we go. Rook e6 was the last move that was made. This is very interesting. We see Charles de Villiers, who's a FIDE master, watching the game from behind there. Intriguing stuff. And Watu Gabesi walking around looking at Matfei versus Jan there. It's always nice to have the cool cameras set up so that we can see what's happening. And now Watu's checking out the other boards as well. But let's see what happened to Watu's game. So Charles de Villiers unfortunately lost to Craig Willenberg, and perhaps Watu is still playing. So Watu's comfortably walking around with his hands in his pocket because he knows that he has an advantage here. He has 5 pawns versus 5 pawns, but here, of course, there are just so many weaknesses in White's camp. I mean, the pawn on b3 is a backward pawn. The pawn on e6, the king is about to march. Watu is one of the best endgame players I've seen here in South Africa. The way he teaches endgames, you would fully know he understands the depths of, you know, the crux of endgame play and concepts and things like that. So I have been privileged enough to be coached by Watu, and the way he explains endgames and goes through some endgames from like Capablanca and some other really well-known endgame experts such as Rubinstein and so on. He takes a game that looks so normal and makes it sound like an incredible masterpiece. He opens your eyes to these beauties, and he has these concepts of like, do not hurry, the path of the king, how the king is an active piece in the endgame, and so on. So I've learned a lot from him, and yeah, you can see that he will definitely just be piling the pressure here against his opponent. Probably going to knock out again for another hour or two, but glad I've caught this round and I'll probably see you for the next one. That's good. I'm glad. I'll probably be able to go live just before the next round. Just showing you a view of players sitting down, etc. Siva CV, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Really nice to see you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, so 3 minutes left for Luto. I think Watu is still walking around quite comfortably. I'm here to see what is happening in this position here against Charlton. I think that it's looking quite good for Kanya. The pawn on e4 is hanging. He might get the pawn back on b5, but then I'm worried about the king and the knight. The king and the knight, because, okay, in a position like this, probably playing something like rook takes e4 and rook f1. Holding on to that pawn. Okay, so if we get to go back one move, go like this, and, or maybe rook f1 immediately then. Rook f1. No? What's the correct move? I don't know. Rook h2. Okay, I'm at a loss. I don't know. Rook b1. Oh, because if rook takes, you play this. Okay, makes sense. Looks like all the moves are giving some sort of weird, weird lines. How's everyone in chat doing? Are we still good? And we still have some other games to take a look at as well. So games, Jan Karsten, Matvey Rogov. King to f3 was the last move that was played. So now it's 3 pawns versus 2. Showing a huge advantage here for Jan. And did we get another result? No. Okay. King g6. King e3. So the king's coming across. Rook is doing an exceptional job defending both pawns. But you know what they say, in an endgame, the king is worth, if you were to give it a value, it would be worth 4 points. And you always use the piece of least value to defend pawns and other pieces and squares and stuff like that. So here it would make sense for the king to go and attack, or like defend b2, attack on a4. The moment the king gets to c3, it enables the rook to take on a4. I am clearly very tired and need a nap. Okay, so just king d3, king c3, I'm sure. And then he's got some passed pawns. He could even sacrifice the rook at some point to try and queen his pawns. So probably if he were to go check, king c2, check, king b1, check, king a2, and check. Well, not check again, but yeah. Then he would take king here and probably just run with the pawn. Right? He would just run with the pawn. So let's see the position. +6. Insane. All good. I'm glad. Okay. I can't decide which game to look at. Ooh, rook h7. Rook h7 in a last attempt to try and stop these rolling pawns. It's very, very hard. Though, what would the idea be to convert this? Probably playing rook to f5, attacking f6, because it looks like both rooks are being tied down to the defense of the queening squares. Rook takes e4 with check, and it does look like it's near the end. If we were to just take a look at the whole camera for a second, I'll probably leave it like this for a little bit just to get, you know, a full screen view of what's going on. Jan's looking over. And he moved the king over to d6, trying to get the king behind, or in front of those pawns rather, which is still not easy. I think bishop takes f6 might seal the deal. Bishop takes f6, and we might see something happen soon, very soon. Watu is showing off some really nice endgame play at the end there. I think he just captured h2. He captured on h2, and after doubling up, he just captured check on e6, probably going back king f7, and then we'll possibly see a handshake soon. There's so much going on. It's also hard to concede, knowing that you've lost in a certain position. It's really difficult. Oh, he still played a move. He played king, probably king d4 here. Okay, king d4 has been played. And after king f7, I'm not entirely sure what else there is to do, because Watu is 2 pawns up here. And it's more than enough because there are 3 connected pawns. It's hard to come back from that. Yeah. Okay, king c3. King has made its way all the way to c3. Wait, what was the last move that was played? Okay, checking the king, keeping the king at bay. An active king is a big problem, I would think. So now just king f7, right? King f7. Yep, I think king f7 was played. Yep, there it is. Rook d1 quickly played. I think he has realized what has really happened here. Maybe just doubling up the rooks on this file, and then if rook d7 check, rook e7, if rook d6, you'll just bring the other rook back as well, and at the end of the day you'll still have your 3 connected pass pawns. But let's see what's happening on the other boards. Okay, the king has made its way to b7, stopping the pawns from going forward. And 2 pawn difference, with it looking very, very difficult. And also g5 is hanging. This pawn might also become a passed pawn soon. And to look over at Jan's board, we have a completely winning position here for white. And I think we'll see some handshakes soon. Let's quickly take a look. I think Matvey is calculating which pawn is faster. He's just going to push the pawn. And so is Jan. Like I said, whether you know or not that you've lost, it's hard to come to terms with certain things. I just want to quickly see if Watu did play the move we thought. Okay, yes, he doubled his rooks, as we thought he might. And, okay, it looks like he's trying to go into that whole queen endgame, but I think after trying a couple moves there, we'll just see from the whole cam and board. I'll still be talking and showing you guys, but this is what it looks like at the moment. Thanks, Tando. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. All right, so he's checked. I think the point is here to just keep checking until the queen reaches a square where it's close enough to the king. The moment the pawn goes to h2, it will be a draw. And I think Jan needs to put his queen in front of that pawn and then bring his king closer. There are a lot of things to watch out for when it comes to flank pawns versus queen. But I think you learn these things from a young age. I mean, in addition to, you know, how to checkmate with two bishops, how to checkmate with a knight and bishop. And you'd be lying if you told me you knew exactly how to do that. I'm joking, of course. Most people know how to do it, but I don't. Hello. How you doing, Haas? Good to see you. King, queen check. So it's like a zigzag or like a staircase or something. I think everything has a name these days. Though I'm more in tune with the concept itself rather than things like concept names, opening names, variations. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before. And then someone's like, yeah, it's the Rogosian double deluxe frappuccino light with a shot of espresso. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. Oh, and resignation probably. Let's quickly take a look. Whole camera, and they've finished the game. They have finished the game. Maripand used the overlay that you made yesterday. Looks really good. I hope it's not because I mentioned it and she felt obligated to do so. Well played by both players there. That was a really beautiful game. Right. So we'll go back to my face. I'm really sorry about that. She was very happy with it. I'm glad, because I sent it to her ages ago. And yeah, she seemed quite happy. Oh goodness. I think I have to delete my comment, my very risky comment on Lad Bible. I've made too many mistakes in the past and I'm about to make another. But yeah, I should keep my risky comments to myself. And here it shows Watu's just completely winning in this position with the passed pawns. I suppose the point is here that you want to eliminate all the queenside pawns and be left with this. So after rook takes a5, which is inevitable, you play something along the lines of maybe just h4. Like, you just go for it, because at the end of the day your rook will end up on a3, you'll capture the pawn, these pawns will be like over here by then and it would just be too late. So now h4, probably. Once again, I just want to make the whole camera a little bit bigger so you guys can see a little bit more. I mean, Watu still being very respectful about it. He's not moving quickly. He's trying to be careful. He wants to make sure that he's making the right decisions here. And yeah. You're working on your puzzle rating. Nice. Risky comments. Those are for Jesse after dark streams. Yeah. Oh, the thing with the horsey move on move something. Yes, exactly. Openings should adopt the Friends School of Naming, the one with the knight f3 move. Yes. The Reti. Give me 1 second. Okay. We'll just be jumping between these two boards. So he still hasn't captured on g5, it seems. And of course, white would want nothing more than to trade some pieces and get his king closer. It's always a very tricky and sticky situation where you have rooks, both rooks on the board. It is an endgame. You're technically supposed to make your king active, but still there is some risk to putting your king in the middle of the board. Because obviously with heavy pieces like the rooks, you might fall into some mating net, and it's very difficult. You have to, you can't just apply one rule to a situation like that. You have to also take into account the exceptions. And after rook to h8, I'm sure you could just capture on g5. Maybe he's avoiding this. I was looking at a move like this. You are getting rid of the bishop. But even if the pieces are off the board, you can't exactly take because of the queening square. But at least this way, if you were to at least take the bishop, you are limiting, not limiting, I suppose, reducing the number of attackers and defenders in white's position. I must admit to enjoying rook endgames. I like rook endgames when they're not mine, you know what I mean? Because otherwise they are just so frustrating. Okay, so bishop f6 is a big threat. Though I suppose there's rook h2, but then the king will just attack. So maybe rook d, check. Then rook e7 might come soon. Rook d check. I like it. It must be played. It has to be played. But then the bishop will take. I was just testing your knowledge. This is like an endgame that almost not an endgame. That's a W bishop. Common reaction to rook endgames. Yes. Okay, knight d1 check. King. Maybe even just king here. And then march the king this way. You're avoiding knight checks. There's really no way that... yeah, I don't see a check after the king gets to e5. But okay, we'll leave the game up, and I'm just going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. Right, I can see that Watu has finished his game against Luto in Fuzzware. And what a nice way to end it off as well. A very nice tactic. Luto has to take and then f3. Sacrificing a pawn, but you have 2 passes at the end there. And yeah, that leaves us with one more game, which is Kanya Mazibuko versus Charlton Niesto. And it's looking quite good for Kanya with the extra pawn, although oh, okay, it looks like that knight is lost, actually. Sorry. How's things? Yeah, Watu deserves that. GG, especially coming back from the last game that he played. I think Charlton's playing on here. He's going after the pawn, and after check, he'll take the pawn, and then okay, it's still difficult to win with the rook and bishop versus rook, but I think he will be able to pull it off, because right now he'll probably take with the rook here, and then he has to move the king, and then he'll push the pawn. But even then, okay, I suppose here it's GG. Yeah. But yeah, that leaves Watu Kibesi with 4 out of 5, and Craig, I think, also has 4 or 3.5. Jan Karsten has 4.5 out of 5, and if Kanya wins this, he'll have 5 out of 5. Okay. So now with rook b3, king a6. I suppose the move here is to just play a simple king to c6, and king a5 will be forced. So I'm just assuming like this will be what will happen, and then after check here and check, and you win the rook. Now what did happen? Okay, king c6 was played, and they finished. They shook hands.